everyone, a very warm welcome to you all. There are many types of income tax notices taxpayers may receive, each corresponding to a particular reason. You could get a notice if there is a mismatch in your TDS and income tax details. The taxman's suspicions are aroused when you claim too big a refund in your return. There are many other discrepancies or reasons for one to end up with an income tax notice. I, Monisha Chaudhary, in this video will discuss about issue of notice under section 131(1)(a) of Income Tax Act 1961. Let's understand section 131 and its clauses under Income Tax Act. Section 131 is contained in Chapter XIII C of Income Tax Act 1961. Section 131(1) has empowered the income tax officer, assistant commissioner, deputy commissioner, assistant director, deputy director, joint commissioner, commissioner appeal, commissioner's principal commissioner, chief commissioner, principal chief commissioner and dispute resolution panel for the purpose of this act with same powers which are vested in a court under Code of Civil Procedures 1805. Section 131(1)(a) of the Income Tax Act 1961 has empowered the Director General, Director, Additional Director, Joint Director or Assistant Director to exercise powers conferred under Section 131 of the Income Tax Act 1961, the powers conferred in Section 131 as vested in a court under Code of Civil Procedure as under discovery and inspection, enforcing the attendance of any person, including any officer of a banking company, and examining him on oath, compelling the production of books of accounts and other documents, and issuing commissions, which means that Section 131 is comprised of two complementary subsections relating to two different classes of officers, whereas Section 131(1) empowers the jurisdictional assessing officer to issue summons. Section 131(1)(a) empowers the officers of the investigation wing, that is assistant director, deputy director or the director of income tax investigation, to issue summons. It simply means that if you have been served notice under Section 131(1)(a), assessing officer has the reason to suspect that you have concealed income. This categorizes you as an income tax defaulter. Then, person is required to gather all the evidence and documents proving that the ITR contains true and accurate information. Section 131(1)(a) helps in giving the officers more power. There are certain situations in which the income tax officers have a little more authority and power. Below are the situations which make the use of Section 131(1)(a) and allow the income tax officers to have issued notices. The income tax officer can issue a notice before he goes ahead with taking any action under clauses 1 to 5 of Section 132. The income tax officer can issue a notice even if he or she has a reason to suspect that there is a concealment of the income earned by the person. The income tax officer can even issue a notice even if there are no proceedings currently withstanding with respect to that person or even a group of people. Issue of notice under Section 131(1)(a) after conclusion of search. There is a controversy in this respect. There are conflict decisions of different courts. Gujarat High Court in the case of Aarti Gases versus DIT investigation in 2001 has held that notices under Section 131(1)(a) can be issued after completion of search undertaken under provisions of Section 132, as it would be absolutely logical to call for information so as to have better particulars or to have complete idea about the material seized during the search. In the decision of Allahabad High Court in the case of Dr. Mrs. Anita Sahai versus DIT in the year 2004, 266 ITR 597, in which the High Court have held that there was neither reason to believe nor material before authorizing officer on the basis of which he could issue a warrant under Section 132. Let's see how to reply to a summon of the notice if received under section 131(1)(a). To begin with, a notice under section 131(1)(a) is very common nowadays, which means there is not much to fuss about. The first thing you must do is to keep all the summoned documents ready. What you must be careful is not to ignore such notice, and if you have been asked to present physically, make sure you do. If you have a valid reason, you can seek extension, but it is limited to once generally. Now moving further, let's see how to prepare and submit a response on time. The notice under section 131(1)(a) primarily shows up when the assessing officer thinks that there is income that you may have been concealing. If you have purchased a property recently, there are chances that you will be asked to prove such a purchase and the source of its funding. In such a case, you can do it electronically. In any other case, if your physical presence is demanded, see if it allows hiring an authorized representative, that is AR. You may ask him to represent you or accompany you during the proceedings. You can also send all the documents within the deadline mentioned in the notice. In case some document is missing, make sure you seek an extension from the assessing officer. Now let's understand the relationship between section 131(1)(a) and the Civil Code of Procedure. The Code of Civil Procedure manages the civil proceedings in India and gives section 131(1)(a) the power to issue commissions enforcing the attendance of an individual, discovery and inspection of any property. It also allows the section to examine the assessees on oath along with producing the necessary books of accounts and documents. Thus, at last, we would like to say that the conferring of the various powers should no way mean that there are illogical and irrelevant usage made of the same. When it comes to the using of powers entitled to the authorities, they need to be used with utmost care and guidance and ensuring that there is proper logical path to the same for the issue of such relevant notices. Also, the guidelines that have been laid down need to be followed for ensuring that there is no discrepancy. That's all for this video. For any other concerns or questions on this process, kindly email us at info@enterslice.com or call on the numbers mentioned over the screen. Do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.